been a massive Mike Oldfield fan. You know, over the years, lots of people know I'm a bit of a fanboy and have asked, you know, when are you going to attempt to do this proper instrumental album, really, and play all the instruments. You know, because I do a bit of it on the sort of compendium projects and Magenta. Now I like to play the bass and the guitars and keyboards and whatever else I can find hanging around. But then I've never really sat down and thought, right, let's do long form instrumental. But say last year, just after Christmas, I think I'd finished the 27 Club, the Magenta's new album. And I thought, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I just thought, oh, you know, it was January, beginning of the year, and I thought, let's give it a go, really. Let's try, you know, to do something I've always wanted to do. And I just sat down and started it at the piano, and then started layering things, and it's just 4 weeks just flew, and all the music just came out, and it was the most enjoyable album I've done, really. It's a fine line I was treading making this album, because obviously it's going to be compared to Tubular Bells and everything that Mike Oldfield does. But it's just when you take these instruments and put them together like you do with an orchestra. You know, Bach's going to sound like Beethoven's going to sound like Mozart if it's all played by the same instruments. But it's the melodies which make it all stand apart, really. You know, I was taking the sounds that Mike Oldfield had used on these albums, but all the melodies, which is the hard part, because it's easy to make just do a pastiche of it and rip it off, but to actually write melodies which just stand up on their own and move people, really. And then I had two people I wanted to play it to, and I'd say if they had said, leave it alone, I would have binned it. It was Tom Newman and Simon Heyworth, both who were involved in the original making of Tubular Bells. You know, so there was a bit of a moment when I tracked them down and sent them a rough version of side one again, just to see what they made of it. With Tom, I sent him the copy, and he sort of came back and he said, yeah, it sounds like Mike a little bit, and it's, you know, it's okay, it's good, you know, it's well done and everything. I thought, oh, you know. The next email was like, oh, I played it, and it's really, really good. In fact, it's really good, and you know, I'd love to get involved in it. So I was like really chuffed, and so we spoke on the phone, and again he said, you know, it does sound like Mike Oldfield, but the melodies are so good and it's so well done that it stands up on its own, and that's exactly what I wanted. From where I was born and where I lived in the valleys, it was quite a rough area, I think, and say the least, and music really did sort of stop me from sort of falling into sort of a bad sort of crowd and everything. And I think that a lot of my contemporaries were like sort of ended up being drug dealers and things if they were lucky. And so music really was sort of sanctuary, really, and I think it's quite apt.